Hey yo, what's up? That's how I start all my videos basically. So, with Jesus saying to the adulteress in the Bible, even though it's a debated verse, some people think it's not included and it was added later. If it was added later, fine, but it still gives an interesting, valid lesson about the law. So he said, he who is without sin cast the first stone. Okay, let me see which one of you who claims this person's adulterous and should be stoned to death, which one of y'all hasn't sinned? And they all kind of they shut up and walked away because they knew that they've sinned, according to the law at least. And what is the law? It's the Torah. And then, the Tanakh is the rest of the Old Testament, but the Torah is the first 5 books of Moses, which they take the most seriously. And I know because I grew up in an Orthodox Jew and went to Hebrew school, which was Saturday. Saturday, every week until I had a bar mitzvah, So I learned this stuff, and they only teach the Torah. They don't teach about Isaiah, Jeremiah, or any of the prophecies that would hint at some kind of savior. there's no Isaiah 53 analysis. We just read the book of Moses all day, and all the terrible things that happened to the Jews under his reign. Here's the thing. It's all meant to happen. Moses was supposed to be deceived. He was supposed to lay down the law of Yahweh. He was in the mountains for 40 days and 40 nights, not with God, but with Satan. Just like Jesus for 40 days and 40 nights was with Satan, not God. Okay, but Moses didn't know. He saw signs and wonders because the Yahweh beast can do that. Yahweh beast can easily make storms, split a Red Sea. It's just technology. It's literally just futuristic technology. And then back in the day, they just thought it was miracles, right? Okay, well, a real miracle is creating the universe, okay, and creating the world, which is what the true Elohim God did. The Yahweh beast created Babylon, which is the center hub of all idolatry. It's Mesopotamia. It's modern day Iraq right now, which is obviously a shithole now anyway. But it's the creator of all the Semiramis, Tammuz, Baal and Grove worship. So the fact that Jesus was calling out how if any of y'all haven't broken the law, sure, go ahead and stone her because she's an adulteress. But then they all walked away. So Jesus, in that one question, or in that one statement, he is without sin, cast the first stone, already implies that the entire law is not possible to fulfill. Okay, and God is not going to create a race of human beings, a species, a life form, without letting them have a chance. That's my thing. If no human can follow all of the Torah, let alone all of the Talmud, which the rabbis put on after the Torah. I mean, you already have the Torah, which is crazy enough with all the Leviticus laws. If you just sit down and listen to the book of Leviticus, it's basically one big thou shalt not. Okay, it's just all the stuff you have to do, all the stuff you can't do, stuff you're not supposed to do, all animals you have to kill in a certain way to appease some God who created these beautiful, peaceful animals. Why would the creator of the universe need you to kill his own animals to please him? He created the animals. That is his pleasure. It was good. So why is sacrificing animals all of a sudden a thing? Because the Yahweh beast Satan is wanting to do that. Leviticus 23 is all about sacrifice and killing all these innocent animals to please me, God, Yahweh. That's not God. Whereas Isaiah 1:11 contradicts that. Isaiah 1:11 says, what good are all these sacrifices to me? And if you want to say the Bible is all true, how do those concepts unite? They do not. Leviticus 23 is either true or Isaiah 1:11 is true. You cannot have it both ways. Okay? So all of the Bible being true is not the case. Okay? When it says in Psalms, the book, these are the pure words of the Lord, in a furnace of fires times 7, all that stuff, that verse, he's saying That's saying that the Bible is pure in itself. The test is pure. Not every single word that you read is literal, but the test itself is pure. When you notice that Hosea 13 says Yahweh is a lion, a leopard, and the bear, but Revelation 13 and Daniel 7 say the beast is a lion, a leopard, and the bear. Those are, if everything's true in the Bible, then that doesn't make sense. Every word is pure because the test itself is pure. So when you notice those things, it's like, oh, it makes sense if Yahweh is Satan. That's the test. You pass the test. Okay, and what about 1 Chronicles 21 when it says God, made David kill 70,000 people, but in 1 Chronicles 21, but in 2 Samuel 24 it says Satan made David kill 70,000 people. The exact same historical event, but in the King James Bible, it's not even some Greek Hebrew translation. The King James Bible, one of them says God, one of them says Satan. How can the Bible be true if both of those things are true? Well, because the word God wasn't the word God. It was the word Yahweh. Elohim is God, not Yahweh. Elohim is God. El is God, not Yah, Jehovah, Yahweh, Yud-He-Vav-He. I'm serious. I hate to keep going over and over, but if you're not convinced then you just don't have a logical brain. Okay? I already made a video showing the 15 examples. And a couple videos showing more. Okay? So, what does it all mean? Well, it means that the Bible is a mystery. It's like a mystery novel. It's giving you the clues. It's setting up the bad guy. It's literally Chuck Palahniuk's Fight Club. You thought the good guy was separate from the bad guy the whole time, but it was the same person the whole time, and all the clues were there. All of the setup was valid, and if you just didn't see it, then you don't see it. If you don't have ears to hear, then you won't get it when I tell it to you either. So, anyway, it's just a very, very important concept that we need to mull over. You tell it to one single church, they'll call it blasphemy. But how is logic blasphemy? How is Hosea 13 and Revelation 13 describing the same thing? How is 2 Samuel 24 and 1 Chronicles 21 describing the same thing? Even though one says God, one says the beast. That how can God be the beast? It doesn't make sense because we're not reading the Hebrew. King James just says Lord and God. And the Hebrew says Elohim, Yahweh, El Shaddai. There's like 100 different names for God, okay? And that's why it's confusing. So that's why the KJV English has just simplified it. Let's just make it all God, whatever. But the actual Jews are understanding the language is much more complex than that, yet they haven't figured this part out, okay? Because they think if everything is taken literally, then it's all going to be literal. Well, look what a literal interpretation got you, okay? I mean, the world is so confused right now. And you have these atheists validly claiming that why is God so evil in the Old Testament? Why would I want to be a part of that? And then they'll be like, when the Christians will be like, well, Jesus is better than the old God. But the atheists are like, well, the old God was supposed to be the father of Jesus. So even if Jesus is all hunky-dory, how does his peacefulness explain the Old Testament God, where he came from? Father's mean, but the son is nice? That doesn't make sense. That's the attitude people have. The Old Testament God is mean and scary, but Jesus, even though he created the fucking universe, but Jesus, his son, who he came from, who he's God made flesh, he's nice and peaceful and says, turn the other cheek. It doesn't make sense, and that's why people are just so confused. You cannot justify Deuteronomy 28. If you're a Christian, you cannot say that the same peaceful, loving God who sent Jesus was the same horrific, murderous God who said to people, I'm going to starve you so much that you'll eat your own children. Deuteronomy 28. Does that sound like Jesus to you? Okay, then it's not the same Father as Jesus. If Jesus is the Father made flesh, then that is not him. Okay? It's that fucking simple. Am I done with this rant? I guess it's been 10 minutes. I was watching Snatch the other day, and it's actually funny because the very first scene is Benicio del Toro disguised as a rabbi talking to these other rabbis about the Septuagint and how it was a Roman text and not Hebrew. And so that's why in Genesis 1:23 Isaiah 7:13 talks about the virgin birth, which we all know is Jesus, because Matthew 1:23 is literally the same as Isaiah 7:13. It fulfills that prophecy. But it was funny. In Snatch, the argument was like, well, it was a different translation. But what's funny is that the Jews tore the oldest version of a full Hebrew Tanakh is the Leningrad Codex, dated to 900 AD. That's the oldest Hebrew Old Testament. But guess what? The Septuagint is dated to 200 BC. That's over 1,000 years older. So any Old Testament we have is only coming from the Septuagint text, and mostly from the Sinaiticus and Vaticanus codices, where the New Testament's all corrupt, but the Old Testament Septuagint is there, confirming over 50 prophecies that the Hebrew translation takes out, which is another video I made previously, of course. So I just thought it was funny how Snatch was talking about that. But if you want to go into it, Guy Ritchie, writer-director of Snatch, the Septuagint was older than any Hebrew Bible ever. So you can't claim that it was that Christians translated it afterwards. If the Septuagint is older than your Hebrew Bible by 1,000 years. So anyway, pwned you there. It all makes sense if God makes us, aware enough to understand these types of things. And a lot of Jews are like, well, you just believe in Satan because you're New Testament. No, the word Satan was invented from the Old Testament. Okay, the book of Job is the oldest Hebrew book of the Bible we know. And which one is that? It's God talking to Satan the whole time. Okay, like that's the oldest Hebrew. It's not Genesis, is not the oldest manuscript we have. The book of Job is. And what is that one? It talks about the Pleiades. It talks about the twisted serpent constellation. It talks about all different stars and, astrology, basically, astrotheology. And it has Satan and God talking to each other the whole time. So the Jews want to say, oh, well, you created the Satan hell thing. No, Satan was already in your Old Testament. The serpent. Daniel 7 says the beast is a lion, a leopard, and the bear. But in your same Old Testament, the Jewish books, Hosea 13 says God is a lion, a leopard, and the bear. So how do you justify that contradiction? Okay, we have Revelation 13. The Christians have the New Testament. Revelation says the beast is a lion, a leopard, and the bear. Daniel 7, Old Testament, says the beast is a lion, a leopard, and the bear. Why does Hosea 13 say God is a lion and the leopard and a bear? Because Yahweh is Satan pretending to be God. That's the plot twist, y'all. I don't know how else to make it simpler for you. Yeah. Except just, slow down. Read. Study. Watch videos. I don't know. Later.